So we don't often just kind of check in with each other. My wife and I went and saw a movie last night, and I was just wondering if you guys have been back to the movie theaters yet and what your experiences have been.
I haven't.
No?
I legitimately cannot remember the last movie I saw in a theater.
Wow. All right. Well, the reason I bring it up is we went and saw a movie last night, and the theater we went to, there was like nobody there, and I think they were struggling. I won't say which one, but if you guessed the correct 3 letters, you might be able to figure out which theater we went to.
Smooth, Dave. Smooth.
And I don't know if I just forgot how loud movies are nowadays, or if they had their system set up wrong, but we ended up having to watch the movie with napkins in our ears.
I would have paid money for someone to take a picture of that.
Yeah,
We were the only ones in the theater.
my
Sitting
goodness.
directly center.
I want that on Instagram.
And
Yeah,
picture of you guys.
We need that picture.
And I just don't know if it's like the volume creep, like loudness wars like happened in music in the 90s, 2000s, or what was up. But I was just like, you know what? I don't miss this. I would rather have my nicely set up surround sound in my basement.
What I love about this, Dave, is you're like the crotchety old man this time.
You really are.
These darn movies.
It's so loud in here. What's going on?
Who needs to listen to it this loud?
I've never heard this voice out of you. Oh my God.
Don't you know it's
Are you
dangerous for your hearing?
Are you Homer Simpson's dad? You're the voice guy for him, aren't you?
Yeah.
Aren't you?
All right.
Anyway,
okay.
I just wanted to check in to see if I was the crazy one, and yep.
Okay.
Apparently.
But
No,
also,
I will say you're not,
leave it
though, because
to
I agree with you.
Okay.
It's way too loud.
They are loud, but also leave it to the sound guy to complain about how loud it is.
But he brings more credibility than the rest
He
of
does,
us.
but therefore that's why I'm
I
also
know.
not surprised that you have a beautiful surround sound set up in your basement.
Yeah. It was, I know what is a dangerous level, and I just want to say to the parents out there, buy some earplugs for your kids, because if it keeps getting this loud, they're going to lose their hearing.
Can I
That's
actually?
my
Can I
pitch.
ask you an audio question?
Sure.
Why is it that I feel like every time I'm watching like regular person TV, it is so
Dynamic?
The dialogue is so quiet. Then you get to a commercial and your ears are bleeding.
Been that way for decades.
But why? Is it just to be obnoxious and get your attention?
To get your attention.
I
And it
hate
is
that.
obnoxious. That's
And-
why that's one of the reasons people go through the commercials with fast forward.
Right.
There are like loudness standards set in place now to combat that, because that's what the commercials were doing, was just getting your attention. But
Rude.
yeah, I don't know. This has completely devolved. What do we want to do today?
Yeah, well, maybe we should get on topic, which has
let me
zero
tie
to do with movies
Let
and
me
zero
tie
to do
it
with
in.
sound.
Let me tie it all in.
Okay.
The reason why I was so excited to go to the movies is because that was the one thing that I have been missing the entire pandemic, was movie theater popcorn.
Ooh.
There's just something special. I will pay whatever ticket price to get in there and buy movie theater popcorn.
It's the artificial butter flavored grease, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's you know what? I agree
Yep.
with you on that. I can't remember the last time I saw a movie, but I would go for some movie theater popcorn.
Yeah, they should just sell the popcorn. You just walk right out.
Seriously.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, we love
well,
it.
I mean, we obviously love 3 things here in the cabin: food and drink, hidden gems, and exploring the best that the state has to offer, especially when it comes to food and drink. So we're talking today, finally, after that tangent, with a couple running an Instagram account that seem to like the same 3 things. They travel around the state, really the Midwest, and eat and post about it on Insta.
They probably
they
have
teach
more
us.
refined tastes than me, just after my
Than your
artificial
movie.
butter.
In your movie theater
We're
popcorn.
not even going to ask them about movie theater popcorn. We know it's beneath them. So, little foodie's guide to Wisconsin on the road on the podcast today. So, Jordan and Mike from the Midwest Munchers will be joining us. If you don't follow them on Instagram, you oughta.
You should.
Yes. All All right, the cabin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Counties Association. This week we're going up north to Ashland County.
Up north?
Up north, which is at the foot of Shawamagan, for crying out loud. I was going to joke about pronouncing it, and I'm screwing it up myself. Shawamagan Bay. Which, of course, is Lake Superior. So Ashland, once a major center for lumbering, mining, brownstone quarrying, and Great Lakes shipping. They had a massive dock on there that they've actually torn down since, and I was so sad when they did that. Still an incredibly beautiful city. Northland College is there, and murals everywhere. The historic mural capital of Wisconsin. So when you're walking around downtown, you're going to see a ton of huge murals on all kinds of different buildings, brownstone structures, because there's a lot of old money up there back when architecture was awesome. And the county itself was named in honor, actually, of the Lexington estate of Kentucky statesman Henry Clay. Many of us have heard of Henry Clay. One of the founders of the city of Ashland was a big admirer of his, so that's how we got the name. And there is an Ashland, Kentucky that I've been to. And of course, the Apostle Islands are right by there. So the Apostles straddle Ashland and Bayfield County. Most of them are in Ashland. Sand, York, Eagle, and Raspberry. Those are in Bayfield. The rest are in Ashland County, including Madeline Island, by the way, the big one. And then Madeline's the only one that's not part of the Apostle Islands National Lakeshore.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's inhabited.
Fair enough.
But the others are, and Ashland is one of the great points you get to before you head off for those islands. So it's also the home of South Shore Brewery.
Nice.
Which was early on in the brewery resurgence. They've been there a long time, and they make good stuff. They have a tap room in Ashland, and they also have a brewery up in Washburn. So
I have a growler from there.
Oh, do you?
Still at our house from when we honeymooned up there.
Oh, very nice. Great place. So make sure you check out those things and more in Ashland County. It's a beautiful place.
Love it. Eric, are you thirsty?
I'm always thirsty.
I know you're always thirsty.
Always hungry, too, but
Well, at least we have some good
bad
topics.
Episode for that.
Yeah, we've got
right?
good topics today for it. Well, did you know that the cabin is also brought to you by Jolly Good Soda? And Eric,
I'm going from diet to regular on this one. Let's get
there
ready.
we go. Gorgeous.
I didn't spill.
So proud of you. Jolly Good Soda is available in 6 and 12 packs in select flavors.
Fruit punch. This is so good.
That face.
Sorry, I didn't mean to have the foodgasm. Sorry.
It was, oh my God, I can't. Jolly Good Soda, that was all the advertisement you needed. It is available in select flavors at Festival Foods, Woodman, Sendix, Piggly Wiggly, Triggs, and Quality Foods. And if you can't find Jolly Good at your local grocery store, what do, Audio Dave?
You stomp and yell.
To a manager, and you're like, dude, I need Jolly Good Soda in this store. I don't know what you're doing with your life. We need Jolly Good Soda. And
managers in these other stores are going to hate us for this.
Well, they should have had their stuff together ahead of time and had the Jolly Good Soda there. So I'm just saying. There's also a diet line, which is caffeine-free, 0 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugars, which is the perfect way to enjoy your favorite mixers because we're in the heat of summer, which we love. And make sure to stay up to date on their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts at Jolly Good Soda for all of their fun promotions.
Let's light the fire and get these Midwest Munchers in here.
Do it.
All right, here we are. It is not a secret that Wisconsin has an abundance of amazing food scenes between the extensive famous chefs that call Wisconsin home and world-class restaurants to the fun hidden gem and hole-in-the-wall restaurants. Wisconsin can be a foodie haven, and while we here in the cabin have explored our fair share of restaurants and foodie spots, we figured we needed some experts, and you probably have heard of this famous foodie couple. Please welcome the Midwest Munchers.
Yay! You said please welcome.
Round
we
of
need
applause.
Come on.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jordan and Mike.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we are so excited to talk to you guys. But for starters, I think we have to know, how did this Instagram account come to be? How did you create this, couple persona as the Midwest Munchers?
It helped that we were an actual couple. So that definitely
Fair
helped.
enough.
But I have to give Mike the credit. I'll let him tell the story because it was definitely, he was the mastermind behind it.
Yeah, so like Instagram, I was never, like a couple of years ago, even before we started, I was never into Instagram. I thought it was weird that people just posted pictures and scrolled through. And I was looking at getting a tattoo, and every artist had their portfolio there. And then I also saw these people posting pictures of food, and I turned to Jordan one day, and I'm like, Jordan, we go out to eat way too much. We could do this. And that's how it started.
And I would also like to fully admit that when he told me the idea, I was like, that's a dumb idea. Nobody wants to follow us and see what we eat. And he was like, he convinced me, which took a lot of convincing, but he did it.
Yes. I come up with crazy ideas and Jordan can execute them.
Or just
Very
sit
nice.
them down. One of the two,
I
like
was
any
gonna
good
say,
relationship, right?
A cold dose of reality sometimes, but you know what? That just makes sure that you create a better product.
Exactly.
But it's also the cold dose of reality that Instagram does eat first whenever we go out to eat. So
That's true.
why not capitalize on it at that
We
point?
eat more cold food nowadays
I know.
in restaurants.
Well,
right?
you definitely do when you're on Discover Wisconsin shoots, Eric.
yeah.
I wonder, and maybe this is a question for you, are there any restaurants that serve with like a nice little ring light right at the top of your plate or something? Because whatever restaurant starts doing that will be able to capitalize on
That'll
the trend.
Or is that
Yeah.
like a red flag that the food's going to be really crappy if they do that?
You know, it's
looks
funny.
good.
I've never come across a restaurant that does that. It surprises me now that you say it that
Yeah.
some restaurants aren't doing that, because literally we're all doing it. We're all whipping out our phones and taking pictures of almost everything we eat. Hey, look, cornflakes, bing. You know, it's ridiculous. But restaurants are more taking care of presentation than ever.
Yeah.
That matters more. I mean, now there's a hot dog with like the bun, the wiener laying next to it, and then the drizzle of mustard in a zigzag pattern over the top because they want good presentation, right?
Yeah.
But that's an idea. If a restaurateur is listening to this, and there probably are quite a few
Can
who
have
do,
that one for free.
take it.
Take
Do
it.
it. That would
Do
be
it.
instead of would you like a side of fries or a salad with that? It's would you like an Instagram light with that when we serve
Oh my
it?
God, that's so funny.
I can
Or
see that
swap out
happening.
your light bulbs in the restaurant to be good lighting.
Yeah.
Right.
That's another good one.
Well, so many restaurants are like the design, like inside of it has become so Instagrammable. It's kind of amazing they don't do that per plate, have like the better lighting or the whatever. So.
But the quality of the food still matters, and that's why foodies care. Not
Yeah.
just about how it looks, but how it tastes. Now, how did you guys get across the name Midwest Munchers? You're not exclusive to Wisconsin, I'm assuming, with that name, or did you just like the alliteration?
Well, we started as the Madison Munchers, and as we grew, I mean, we travel a decent amount. I'm from Detroit area, which I'm actually located right now. We travel to Chicago, and occasionally up in like the Twin Cities. So we're
That's perfect.
around that area. We wanted it to reflect our lives and not like go out of the way to do something just for Instagram. It was more just, this is our life, and we're happening to document it.
So as a Michigander, you like your Verner's ginger ale?
Oh, absolutely. Verner's
You like your
ginger
Coney
ale.
dogs in Detroit? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Lafayette Coney, are you kidding? It's delicious.
So we were talking before the podcast, me and Eric, and I don't really know what the difference is between a foodie and someone who really likes food. Is there a certain level that you have to get to before you start calling yourself a foodie? What does that word mean to you guys?
Oh my gosh, I feel like we don't even refer to ourselves as that, Mike. Like, do we ever do
Okay.
that?
I
I feel like
agree.
it's embarrassing. It's like a vain Instagram thing. Yeah. It kind of makes
So
you
you're
cringe.
munchers, not foodies,
Okay.
right?
We're just, I guess, connoisseur. We just eat out way too much.
Yeah,
That's
I feel
really
like
what it comes
I feel
down
like
to.
That's definitely
There's
right.
nothing too fancy or too, I guess, hole in the wall-ish. I don't know.
I eat
for
a lot
us.
of, I would say I eat a lot of fast food. Like I'm always at Culver's or Quick Trip eating fast food. So I feel like we have a good balance of me eating a lot of junk. And then Mike definitely brings me to the nicer restaurants, which I think is probably good for my health.
I like that foodie was too like pretentious of a term, and then you said connoisseur of takeout.
Connoisseur of Culver's.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so you guys have clearly discovered some really cool restaurants, though. Like I personally, even when you guys did the Instagram takeover for Discover Wisconsin, all the places you went to that day, I had never heard of before. So how do you find these new, like, fun places to go?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like this is like the least millennial thing to say because I feel like millennials are all into like looking on Yelp and other Instagram pages. And honestly, we just love to go to small towns and walk around. Mike loves to go for walks. So I feel like we just go and explore small towns and just walk, and we'll walk and see a restaurant and be like, hey, let's check it out. And a lot of times we'll go and like try a few things or try one thing and then go to another restaurant and try one thing and just kind of make a day of it. So a lot of our weekends just look like us going to Spring Green, Wisconsin or Fort Atkinson and just kind of exploring and walking around.
Yeah, and as we grew a lot, like one thing, if a lot of people message us to go try the same restaurant after visiting it, we'll usually get like put on our radar and we'll try to go there. And many times it's these really small, it's like the local place that everyone knows is really good food, but it's only within like a 5 to 10 mile radius of that place. People know that it is, but it's been that way forever. So we'll try it out if we're around there, if a bunch of people message us about it.
And currently the one that we've gotten a couple messages about, and actually my uncle told me about it too, is apparently in Sauk City, Wisconsin, there is a bowling alley and pizza place combo. And apparently they have amazing pizza and ranch dressing, which are two of my favorite food groups. So I'm like super excited to go try this pizza bowling alley place.
But we
Pizza
haven't
and
tried
ranch.
it yet.
Are you from the Midwest? What's going on here?
But we haven't tried it yet. Good call. Yeah. So I don't actually know if it's good, but people have told us it is. So that's like next stop for us to go to.
That's not the only town where I've heard the bowling alley has amazing pizza.
Yeah.
McQuanago, there's a place like that, and we might have to do a whole episode on bowling alley pizza, much to the surprise of
That'd be amazing.
everyone.
Josh will be very thrilled by that. Yeah. I don't know what it is too about like homemade restaurants like making ranch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that so good?
Yep.
I had a
so-
jalapeno ranch dip with some curds a couple weeks ago.
Tasty.
I changed religions. I'm now a jalapeno ranchite.
What a term. I love it.
This
I just
is
made it up.
This is kind of sidetracking us, but yesterday, me and my wife were driving, and she saw a billboard. It was like a picture of a cowboy, and it said something like Ranch Water. It was like a brand or something.
Yes.
And she read it out loud, and I hadn't seen the billboard, and I was like, can we stop, Midwest? I don't need water that tastes like ranch dressing.
And it's not water that tastes like ranch dressing. Are y'all familiar with this? Mike, Jordan, are you
No,
familiar
this
with
is
it?
new to me.
I just learned this because I filmed up in Antigo recently at a neon sign factory. This is called a tangent, y'all. But they were making neon signs. They make Budweiser and Miller and all these neon signs for all these beverage companies. And this one company was Ranch Water. And I'm like, what in the, whatever I said, is Ranch Water? And he didn't really describe it because he wasn't sure himself. He just had this big order, right? And then I was talking with someone just the other day, and I've recently gotten into Topo Chico mineral water, which I really love. A buddy of mine turned me onto it down in Florida. And apparently, and now I buy it up here because I like stuff with, bubbles in it. And apparently Ranch Water is Topo Chico mineral water, tequila, and some lime.
Interesting.
Interesting.
And having lived
That's-
in Texas, I'm shocked I didn't know that already.
That's a better flavor than Hidden Valley.
Yeah. Ranch Water, I know. When they came up with that name, you're like, really?
Anyway,
So off of our side tangents. Okay, so
bring
Jordan
it
and
back
Mike,
now.
yeah, we got to come back. This is supposed to be my producing job, is bringing us back on track. So Mike and Jordan, can you walk us through and I don't even know how to phrase this because I know you've gone to 1,000 restaurants, but your top 3 favorite, just absolute hidden gem restaurants
You start,
in
Mike. You do
Wisconsin.
You do your first one, and I'll go off of that.
Hidden gems, and I don't know how big of a hidden gem in Wisconsin. This is kind of a hidden gem and kind of not, but Iron Gray Barbecue in Milwaukee is one of my favorite places, and specifically their what's it called, the pork belly burnt ends.
Burnt ends or meat candy.
Yeah,
It's so good
Why would you
It's
call it that?
because
so
it's
good.
delicious.
So burnt ends and barbecue is like a Kansas City barbecue thing or Kansas barbecue thing where they invented this thing where they take certain chunks of the brisket and re-put them back in the smoker and bring it out. And it became this big thing in like that area. And this barbecue place in Milwaukee did their own take on it with pork belly, and it's unbelievable. They're so good. If you enjoy meat and of any sort of kind, they're delicious in sauce or just right out of the raw, not raw, but without anything on it. They're awesome.
Right.
Yeah, you don't need to drench it in barbecue sauce to make it incredibly good. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the burnt ends.
Interesting.
Jordan, you can go next.
Okay, so number 2, I feel like if you follow us on Instagram, you see us post about this place a lot because we go pretty consistently every week. There is an old schoolhouse in Spring Green, Wisconsin, that they built a wood fire pizza oven outside of it and turned it into a restaurant that's only open on Fridays. So on Fridays, they have wood fired pizza. I think it's from like 5 to 9. They have wood fired pizza. The rest of the week, they're usually not open. They don't have a website. They literally have a Facebook page where every week they post the pizza specials. And you go and you eat amazing wood fire pizza. They have a beautiful outdoor garden you can sit in. There's a playground in back for the kids. It's just like the most amazing pizza I've ever had. It's a beautiful location.
And what is the name of this?
It's called the White Schoolhouse. I think they call it the White Schoolhouse Pizza Party. So if you look on Facebook, you
Pizza
can find
Party?
The pizza party. Party.
And it's called the place is called the White Schoolhouse Collective.
Okay.
I think they actually might just change their name. I just saw that on Facebook.
Did they change it?
I think because it was confusing. Because no one knows like the White Schoolhouse Collective. Like, what does that actually mean? So I think they actually did change it.
And then occasionally, if they post a different menu of brunch or something, you can go for that, which is sporadic and not planned. It's phenomenal. Like they'll do something different. Like we had like smoked fish.
Trout. It was like smoked trout breakfast.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It was
so good.
It was phenomenal. And they use all like local ingredients and like either they grow it themselves or they like direct in touch with farmers and whatnot. And then what would you say is number 3? Driftless Cafe, but it's not really a secret. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was.
I know. I feel like we're talking about barbecue a lot, but what about that new barbecue place we've gone to in Monroe? I feel like that's a really fun one. Poncho and Lefties.
Oh, Poncho and Lefties is really good too. Their ribs are specifically their ribs are really good there. That was phenomenal that we had. Burgers and stuff were good, but the ribs were like something.
This is in Monroe.
It's in Monroe.
Okay.
Like right in the downtown square too, and it's a pretty small restaurant. I would say maybe it has 8 or 10 tables, Mike.
Yeah, it sits about maybe 50, maybe.
See, that's interesting.
Maybe 30.
Because one of the ones I was going to mention, maybe ironically, but for fun, was also on the town square in Monroe, Baumgartner's.
Oh, the cheese store.
Which,
We've never actually been there.
You got to go. It's a legendary cheese store and tavern, and they're known for their Limburger sandwich. And it's on rye. It's really nasty, good, interesting,
pungent.
A true foodie, if you will. I know we're hating on the term at times, but somebody who's really a connoisseur of flavor and cheese and aging and what can happen would be fascinated to try the 6-month-old Limburger because it is a very unique, pungent flavor. They use onions and mustard to cut it, and but it's an experience. And the sandwiches they make are just phenomenal. They just opened a larger kitchen, but their specialty has always been like fresh meats and cheeses local on sandwiches. So if you go to Monroe in the town square, you've got your choice of Limburger sandwiches and good barbecue, good ribs.
2020 would have been a good year to try that Limburger sandwich when everyone was staying 6 feet away from
They
you.
invented social distancing with Limburger.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah.
So we kind of talked about the tip of going to many different restaurants and just ordering small things here and there. Do you have any other kind of tips for people who want to go, like just have an entire weekend of finding the best restaurants?
I mean, it's easy to say, but like it's easier to do it in a larger city than it is smaller cities. But it really is just kind of walking around. And then if you know or talk to people in like the service industry, a lot of times will tell you the best places to go in a local town. So if you go there and you're like grabbing a drink somewhere or something like that, usually the people in like bartending or your local barista at a coffee shop or whatever will tell you like the better places to go in the town that are not a Yelp search, right? It's easy to do the Yelp search. Or you could potentially follow a local, like if it's a bigger city, sometimes the local food influencers are a better resource than just a Google search because they kind of try out the more trendy or what's up and coming new places or kind of have a better pulse on it than a generic Yelp search.
Also, this is making me realize, does everyone not go on vacation and just eat? Because I honestly don't know what normal people do on vacation, because that's literally all we do. Like, we walk. Well, maybe go for a hike too, I feel like, between meals, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I think that's a great tip, though, to talk to like a bartender and say, like, kind of like, what's the skinny in the town? Like, where do I go for this, that, and the other thing? Because what a wealth of information they usually tend to be.
Yeah.
I've found, walking around a town and just doing a gentle, like 25-mile-an-hour drive around the main downtown streets, that's where you stumble across the best stuff. And you kind of develop over time a knack for getting a sense of how good food might be in a place just by looking at it.
Yeah.
And just by looking at who's going in and out and stuff like that. So you kind of almost develop a sense. It becomes second nature.
Yeah, if like a place is slammed and it's hard to get to, that's also a really good indicator.
Yeah.
Or at
Especially if it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
Or at off hours.
Yeah. Like that Poncho and Lefties, we were there on a Saturday at 2:00 in the afternoon, and there was a 45-minute wait. Like, I feel like that's a good sign.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Dang. Eric, did you want to talk through some of your favorite hole-in-the-wall restaurants?
Well, some of them are holes in the wall. Some of them are just kind of good foodie-esque places, where you can catch some unique stuff. And I got some farm-to-table ideas, too, so I'm kind of jumping all over a little bit here. One thing I will mention, and just in some of my research it came up, and we did this once for the show, is the ability to catch your own fish and then have the restaurant make it for you fresh. It's called a shore lunch.
What?
And two examples. The first one I'm going to give is in a place called the Trout House. We've already brought up Trout, so I think it'd be good to mention it here. It's kind of near Palmyra in the Kettle Moraine area, southern unit off Highway 59 or so. Rushing Waters Fisheries is located right there. And they basically, if you get there early, you can hook a line there, fish for your lunch. And if you catch a trout or two or three or whatever other fish you catch, the chef will prepare it for you. They have ahi tuna and oysters.
Oh my
from
gosh,
their seafood menu, not from next door. And then, if you prefer a steak or a burger or pasta, they can do that for you too. Not everybody loves fish. And then they have a store where they sell smoked fish. It smells like fish in there too sometimes, I imagine. And they have spice blends and marinades they make. So that place is cool. The Trout House, which is near Palmyra, that's in Jefferson County. And then we did this for the show in Kenosha. We went out on Lake Michigan and caught like 5 coho salmon. I caught 5 salmon in an hour, which is the limit. I couldn't believe it because normally I suck at fishing. But on this particular day, they just showed up and it's like they knew it was for the show. It was great. And so we went to a place called the Boathouse, which is right on an inlet from the harbor in Kenosha. And we had to fillet the fish ourselves, which is really gross. But you get these beautiful pink fillets when you're done. And then they made it Cajun style. They did a baked fish, and then they did a fried fish. And we had that with all the fixings. So you're enjoying a chef-prepared lunch with fish you caught that was swimming 90 minutes prior.
Wow.
That sounds super fun. I love those type of things where it's like an activity and food mixed together. I think that's really fun too.
Yeah.
And it kind of appeals on the guy side to the caveman and me catch fish, they cook fish, I eat fish, or you know how we are. And but that's a great way to enjoy lunch on a higher level. Of course, another big thing. Do you guys, Jordan and Mike, do you like small plate places?
Yeah, we've been to quite a few in the Midwest. We've done Les Trois, Ardent. We splurged and went to Alinea one time in Chicago.
Oh, in Chicago. The Alinea is, and I know that's outside of Wisconsin, but that's like people invest money, and if their investment goes up, they pull the money out and then they go to Alinea.
Wow. Right?
It's like this, you set aside the entire night, right? I mean, what was that experience for you? Again, I know it's in Chicago, but this is still worth talking.
Yeah, we were expecting it to be kind of pretentious, but it was a lot more fun. And even the wait staff made it really approachable, surprisingly. We were there for, a few hours, and they had like smoke machines and all this type of stuff that they used, and they kind of cheesily put it out, and they played like hip hop music and stuff as they served some of the courses. The chef for the last course all come out, put the dessert on the table. They make this big edible plate that you kind of just everyone scoops off the placemat. It was a really cool really fun experience, actually. That was one of the most memorable dining experiences we had.
I feel like
At
that's like
least
how
I
we're
had.
like a good mix between us. Where like Mike likes the fine dining, and I'll go along and eat it, obviously. But I like know to eat some like handful of peanuts or a hot dog beforehand because you're never quite full afterwards.
Yeah.
Got to get everything ready properly, right?
I like
gosh.
either the really nice places or like the beyond divey.
That's a good point. You're not somebody who likes the middle stuff as much, are you?
No, I like the most hole in the wall local bar, and I feel at home with
Yeah.
a bush latte.
And those often have the best burgers.
Oh, yeah.
Those kinds of bars.
A burger that's cooked like 4 feet away from you, right behind the bar.
Yeah.
Smash
Yes.
burgers, that kind of thing. I wanted to recommend 2 small plate places in Milwaukee. One is Odd Duck, which is in the Bayview district. It's right along Kinnickinnick Avenue, the main drag through there, which is Highway 32. It's one of the top small plate restaurants in the state. It's known around the country by people who really like that. And the great thing about small plate places is you can have a much wider variety of food for about the same price or maybe a little bit more than if it was 2 of you and you each ordered one huge entree.
Yeah.
And that's all you got. So Odd Duck is one. La Merenda is another, which is Italian for, I think, light snack or midday lunch or something along those lines. That's a small plate heaven. They have great empanada combos from different styles from different countries. Sambal, which is Indonesian. Argentinian beef, different salads. And then one of my favorites, and again, you get just a little bit. Each of you get enough for a nice little sample. And then you move on to the next plate. They had goat cheese curds.
Oh,
Oh, really?
Tangy, different, delicious. From Clock Shadow Creamery, which is about a half a mile from there, topped with a Tia Paquita chorizo cream sauce.
Fancy.
I love it.
They're orange because of the sauce, and they're so delicious.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
And that gives you a chance. Small plate places, and tapas, sometimes they call it. If you see one of those places, try it for once, and see what kinds of varieties you can enjoy.
Yeah, I do want to shout out a Door County place that does really delicious tapas and sangria called Parador in Egg Harbor. And what I love, I feel like it's very classic Door County that most of their businesses are in these like old 1900 built houses. So it's like, you really feel like you're walking around like your grandma's house.
So it's in an old house.
It's in an old house,
Okay.
but amazing tapas and homemade sangria. And I will specifically shout out the charred cauliflower with whipped goat cheese.
Oh,
My God. Outstanding.
they have done more with cauliflower lately.
Yeah.
It's had its heyday. Yeah.
It's really, it's on the.
Bryce
love
was
it.
saying, because he's vegan, and he was saying that he had a cauliflower steak the other day.
Interesting.
Mike's mom made that actually when she was
Really?
visiting us. And it had like
Wow.
pickled jalapenos and banana peppers and what was it? Smoked provolone on
Capers.
top, capers.
Olive. That
Wow.
cookbook, though, is fantastic. 6 seasons.
That's a good
But if we're talking Door County, a couple places. So Chive is fairly well known in Door County, but their desserts are like some of the best desserts I've ever had. Like top quality. Like we had this mousse that looked like a professional pastry chef, perfectly glazed it over, and it was like you cut it in half. It looked straight out of like a professional, high-end pastry chef's Instagram account. It was perfect, and it was delicious.
Wow.
It wasn't just so the food was good, but their dessert was on a different plane. Like some of the best dessert we've had ever out of all the restaurants we've been to, and that wanted to highlight that. And where else in Door County that had good? I think it was Roots that we also had really good.
Great vegan food.
Yeah, that's in Sister Bay, and someone told us about it. It's kind of tucked away
Off the main
in a
drag.
neighborhood
Main
almost.
drag,
Yeah, just off the main drag in.
It's behind Husby's, which
Yeah,
is a
Yes.
popular
exactly.
bar in the corner. Yeah.
And they have we had what was it, cauliflower drumsticks where they like breaded or cauliflower wings. They made cauliflower look like chicken wings.
Sure.
And they gave us like a buffalo sauce, and it was really good. That was.
I'm still stuck on the cauliflower steak a little bit. I'm curious on that.
We're going to have to order one in.
It's
Oh, yeah.
literally just a flat slab of cauliflower. I feel like steaks maybe a little bit
Sure.
more than it is.
I love it. Well, I mean, and I hate to say this because I feel like we could keep talking about food pretty much forever on this podcast, but we are kind of running near the end of time.
What?
I know. I know. Do we want to do like a small rapid fire of our everyone gets like 3 favorite places to finish calling out?
I'll start. I just got one. I want to call
You'll do
out,
one?
Yep. Schuby's in La Crosse. We were just on a shoot there last week and got the hot tip that on Fridays only they serve a spicy chicken sandwich there. It's like a deli butcher, kind of right by the riverfront. And I feel like recently, especially like in fast food, there's this race to have the best spicy chicken sandwich.
That is all the rage right now.
And their Nashville hot chicken sandwich that they only sell on Fridays, amazing. Go check it out if you're in La Crosse.
Like kind of hipstery, like a hipster looking deli. Mike, we walked in there. Do you remember that when we were in La Crosse? We never ordered
I bought beef
anything.
jerky there.
Oh yeah, you bought beef jerky,
which is good.
Yeah. Very good chicken sandwich.
Yeah,
Now it's sad we
Nashville
didn't get a sandwich because we were debating if we should get a sandwich or not.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely worth it.
Oh my gosh. I'm actually going to follow you because I only have one I want to shout out to, and it's my Madison shout out, which is, has anyone been to Smokey John's?
Yes.
I was in college.
In college. Okay. So it's by the airport, kind of like by Ayla Island.
It's on Highway 113, also known as Packers Avenue, right by the airport. Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. Jordan and Mike, have you been there?
Yeah.
I have
So
definitely.
tasty.
I don't think we've been together though. I grew up going there with my dad for Father's Day every year. They used to have a platter. It was a trash can lid, and they filled the trash can lid up with like meat insides. And I like very distinctly remember going there with my dad. And you'd always have a coupon. My dad had a coupon for the trash platter. I remember that.
That's very Midwest.
I love that.
Oh my
Trash
gosh.
platter. That reminds me. It's like the garbage plate at Frank's in Kenosha. Yeah. I love when they go with trash and garbage because it's usually so delicious.
Right. I love it. All right. Well, between Jordan and Mike, do you have any last recommendations for us, for all of our listeners to check out?
You go first, Mike.
I love Red Light Ramen.
I knew you were going to say
my
that.
favorite restaurant. And I also want to give it with something unique that's a little different in Madison is also a Braca. I think it is.
Yeah.
Where they,
Broca?
It's one of the few places
Broca?
it's not Broca. Okay. It's Baraka. I think it's on Willie Street. They serve African food, but it's one of the few places that has also. I think they sold fried plantain or tostones, and that's my family's from Honduras, and they used to make that all the time, and it brought me back to home when I had it there.
Cool.
You know, Willie Street is such a great place to find. There's that place. There's the Weary Traveler. There's a bunch of others that will have different unique combinations of food in a lot of restaurants in a short area.
Yeah.
We should actually go through districts at some point where you can find all of these. That's great.
And I'm going to give one more is Snack Boys in Milwaukee. I also love. Everything I've had there is unique. And that's another small plate place that has a ton of stuff. And it's real hipster inside. But the main courses, I haven't had anything there. And I've taken people from out of town there and they've loved it. So
Is that the place though that doesn't open till like 9 o'clock? And I'm always like real crabby because I'm tired. Is that the place?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's the one with all the weird stuff. It's with all like the decor is like really retro and weird, and they have like that pink neon sign. The food there is really good.
Cool. Jordan, did you want to throw another last minute recommendation out there?
Yes. So this one we have not actually ever posted about or really talked about because honestly, it's already really busy and we don't want it to get any busier. But Hooterville Inn is like a very small bar in Blue Mountains, Wisconsin, and they have the best fish fry. It's just amazing, but it's always jammed on a Friday night, and we've always hesitated to post because we're like, we go there a lot. I don't want it to get any busier. But if you're listening to this podcast, definitely try it. It's so good.
It's one of the best codfish fries we've had.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Fantastic. Eric, you get one more.
Let's see. I'll go back to Milwaukee, a farm to table. We'll talk more about farm to tables in another episode, I'm sure. Bray's in Milwaukee is known for their restaurant-supported agriculture program. So they track the food exactly where it comes from. Chefs will cook supper on Sundays in front of you sometimes, and then they hit the road in summer and early autumn and do 3-course family-style dinners where they literally will tell you exactly where everything you're eating is coming from. So if you're into things like farm to table and local eating, check out what Bray's is doing. And I know they're actually going to be in Elkhorn on July 8th doing one of those. So,
nice.
and if you see a farm to table place, check it out. Do your research. Find out what some of the best places are, because that's where you will get the most natural and freshest food and healthiest.
I love it. Fantastic. So many insider information.
Yeah.
Restaurant tips today.
I know I'm off to Hooterville pretty soon. I think.
Go for some
On
fish
Fridays,
fries.
though.
Fish Fridays.
Yep.
Yeah, Fridays for fish fry.
Jordan and Mike, thank you so much for coming on the Cabin Podcast. I feel like that was 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Is what that
I know
felt
that
like.
flew.
But thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate having you guys teaching us how to be foodies.
Well, thanks for following us. It was really
No
fun.
problem. Yeah, we enjoyed it.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Take care.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I think that episode really will need a part 2. There were 1,000 restaurants we did not get to.
We scratched the surface,
Truly.
basically.
Truly.
We need to just go on tour with them.
Yeah, well, there's so many more restaurants I can show them in Milwaukee, and I would look forward to that. So.
Yeah.
Can we do like an Instagram podcast YouTube tour of food and
You
restaurants?
tell me
Sounds
what that
complicated, but
means,
sure.
and
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
This is, I guess, the fun part of my job. So I'll let you know. I'll get back to you.
Oh, boy. So all this talk about delicious Wisconsin food, you got to remember that indulging in decadent and often dairy-rich foods should be occasional and part of a well-balanced diet and exercise. I'm proof that you need to do that because I don't do that enough. Now, our friends at Group Health Trust are reminding us, of course, you have to have whole meals, balance everything with fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, which is one of the reasons why the farm-to-table dining is such a good idea. You are getting the natural food. You're getting fruits and vegetables and whole grains, locally grown, which is great. Adequate exercise, of course, is also great because then you can splurge more. Moving around is good, even if it's a nice long walk around the lake or your neighborhood. That'll do the trick. You can enjoy more foodie destinations that way. And there is a great quick story of one Wisconsin educator who turned his life around with healthy eating habits. It's on bobber.discoverwisconsin.com. And basically, all you have to do is look for healthy eating habits changed the life of this Wisconsin educator. It's that simple.
Yeah. And I'll link the blog in the show notes as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And speaking of moving your body and getting some exercise, we are talking about some amazing hiking trails in St. Germain. They wanted us to give you the heads up from the serenity of being surrounded by tall trees, quiet waters, and acres of lakes in the Northwoods. You can be sure to find your new favorite vacation spot or hiking trail in St. Germain. So some of our favorites are the Heart of Vilas County Bike Trail, Owassa Nature Preserve and Hiking Trail, Fern Ridge Trail, and Shannon Lake Trail.
Those all sound fun.
Yeah. You can also learn more and get maps to all the trails mentioned on our blog. Also, if you need that again, bobber.discoverwisconsin.com. And the link to the blog is also in the show notes, right?
I'll put them all in the show notes. And Eric, I should know this, but I don't. What county is St. Germain in?
Vilas.
Vilas. Okay. Is that close to Ashland County?
It's just a little bit east, yeah.
I think you could do like a double whammy then. Do Ashland and Bayfield, go on over to St. Germain, do some hiking.
you go.
Absolutely.
What a weekend.
Yeah, Iron County's right in there, too. You just do a little hop around US 51, Highway 70, the county roads up near
I love it.
Boulder Junction and all that area. It's a great up north, Northwoods road trip.
I love it. Fantastic. Are we ready for the review of the week?
Let's do it.
Heck
Let's
yeah.
do it. This one is from Countryway 22 on Apple Podcasts, which I thought was very sweet. It is titled Always Educational, Fun, and Relaxing.
Relaxing.
Honestly, I feel like those 3 words really do hit this podcast very well.
All your soft favorites on the Cabin Podcast. Thanks for joining us.
It says, always looking forward to another episode. I live near Rockford, Illinois, and have always been envious that Wisconsin has this type of love and interest in sharing and showing off all parts of the state. It makes me want to move north or try something similar in the land of Lincoln.
Move north. That's
I think
where
you
it's
should
at,
just move
Countryway
north.
22.
We're happy to have you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Countryway 22.
Hop that border, come to our side. You'll enjoy it. It'll be great.
Maybe in time for next week's show. Make sure you join us for that. It will be released next Tuesday on all your favorite podcast audio outlets and, of course, on YouTube, where it's fun to watch us sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Today's episode of The Cabin was hosted by Eric Paulson, Dave Janis, and me, Susan Foch, with guest hosts of Jordan Durst and Mike DeSello from the Midwest Munchers. Produced by me and Audio Dave, with video editing by Cooper Steele, and social media by me and Courtney Haas. The Cabin is a production brought to you by Discover Media Works. To learn more, head to discovermediaworks.com, and don't forget to leave us a review.